Assalamu alaikum and hello to all the viewers and welcome back to Ebiessporttalk show. Today we got two guests from Pakistan, Qasim and Faris. Assalamu alaikum and how are you guys today?
Walaikum salam. Thanks for EB inviting once again.
Okay, today we're going to be looking at post the Test Series, World Test Championship going forward, South Africa, England, and then the Asia Cup. So we start with the South Africa, England. South Africa have lost the Test Series. A lot of questions on their batting. Qasim, what do you think about South Africa's batting going forward? Big series for them in Australia after T20 World Cup.
Yeah, Ibrahim, as we spoke in the last session that I basically predicted that South Africa might be upper hand, but unfortunately they didn't perform well as per expectation because from the last year or so, they have been phenomenal. Irrespective of the opposition, they have played every opposition outclass and they have been spotted number one from the quite long time. So I was expecting that there will be a one-sided series. And after winning the first test, so that was pretty clear. But very good bounce back from England side. And I always say England and Australia are mentally quite tough. You can't take them out any time of the game and they can bounce back and what same thing happened. Because before that series, England was shaky, even though they beat New Zealand and India, I believe. But before they got that 9th spot. So again, coming back to South Africa, there were bit injuries. We have discussed over the WhatsApp as well. Their main players, Wenderson and a couple of other players were not in the side, which causes them basically a defeat because it was a low total match. And I believe that they will still get a chance to bounce back in Australia because Australia and South Africa is always a very good series. Whether it's T20 cricket, ODI or Test series, they both are very dominant sides, and whoever grabs the opportunity on a particular day, they can beat any opposition. So South African still second ranked team currently as far as Test Championship is concerned. But I believe Australia versus South Africa. If you correct me wrong, it's in South Africa or Australia the series.
It's in Australia.
So I believe that will be tough for South Africa, but we have seen in the past that whenever these two oppositions go to the ground, that will be accepted series. But I believe the major players will come back from injury. Wenderson in particular, they have a very good bowling unit which can demolish Australia, and similarly Australia have the same thing likewise. So it could be a good contest. But as a series prediction wise, might be Australia have a bit upper hand.
Faris, same question for you. What do you think for South Africa going forward and their chances in the World Test Championship?
Actually, like you have said, the match is, conducting in Australia. So if they were playing in South Africa, I would definitely would favor them. But at the moment, you have seen the current struggle of, South Africa. I haven't able to follow the regular matches due to, Asia Cup because we were all busy in praising Pakistan performance and in Asia Cup regularly on the WhatsApp group also. But whenever, whatever I have watched, I have assessed to, that South Africans batting line is looking thinner at the moment, especially after the injury of Rassie Wenderson. After talking to you, you said he was out because of, I think, finger injury or whatsoever. So I think the main players, struggling with the injuries, this has caused downfall of South Africa also. But South Africa also are the underdogs. They can surprise you. But I think going with the statement of Qasim, I think Australia would be favorites to win that test match. Yeah.
Okay, going forward, South Africa. Conditions in Australia almost similar to home conditions here in South Africa. Most of the players don't find it hard to adjust to Australia. Every time South Africa go there, they don't find it hard. And considering they will be playing T20 World Cup in Australia, then they might come home and play some cricket here and then Australia. I think that will help. But considering other teams that they might have to watch out for now, Pakistan, India have come into the question. They can make it. Sri Lanka, I think it's going to be tough. They only have 2 matches, and if they beat New Zealand, they only get to 61%. So the competition is between South Africa, Pakistan, Australia, and India. So Qasim, what do you think about Sri Lanka's chances of making the final?
Sri Lankan chances? Do you mind asking?
Yeah, Sri Lanka's chances.
Considering they can
only get to 61% a winning percentage.
I don't think Sri Lanka might be able to qualify that, and the top 4 will remain India, Pakistan, Australia, and South Africa. Out of 2, if you ask me to choose, to be really like a cricket analyst and to be you may say the logically reasoning, I still believe Australia and South Africa have a great chance to play the final. As a cricket analyst, because I think India do have edge because series will be in India, because Australia always come hard in India. We have recently seen the past India is also like doing good in home grounds as well as outside as well. But I still believe as a cricket analyst that South Africa and Australia are still favorites at the number 1, 2 spot to play the finals. But I do believe that to get more spice of it, that India, Pakistan play at Lord, that would be icing on the cake. But I recommend that if my feelings are feeling that South Africa will bounce back, whatever the series will be, it will drawn or what. Out of nowhere, these two teams will find a way to get the final spot. That is Australia and South Africa. That I've been saying that from past 4 to 5 months that these are the hot favorite teams, and most likely these we have seen the same final, Australia versus South Africa at Lord. As far as Sri Lanka is concerned, they are a very good test side, but in their home conditions, specifically in Sri Lanka. So I don't think so. Sri Lanka and New Zealand series will be in Sri Lanka or New Zealand?
In New Zealand.
So that will be tough for Sri Lanka. As you mentioned, that 61% if they win. So I'm not sure they're thinking Sri Lankans that far away to reach the final 2 spot. I still go with South Africa and Sri Lanka, despite their series are ongoing with themselves, but they will manage somehow to reach the finals. Pakistan, a bit like 5th spot, but I wish Pakistan luck, we Pakistani, but I don't think so. It will be between Pakistan will be an equation. But it will be most like India, South Africa, and Australia 70%. 30% you can rate Pakistan because of a unpredictable side and their home condition. They can fancy their chances. But England come hard in Pakistan situations as well.
And the same question to you. What do you think are Sri Lanka's chances for the World Test Championship final?
I think, Ebi, like you have said, that Sri Lanka is playing in New Zealand, and every subcontinent side struggles in New Zealand while negotiating the swing. The last time that Pakistan, played, if I talk about my team in New Zealand, they almost, won that test match. If you remember that partnership between Fahim Ashraf and Fawad Alam, and I think Qasim may also be remember that beautiful catch taken by Mitchell Santner of Fawad Alam. Was it, or I think it was Fahim Ashraf. Like, Pakistan also have struggled to win a single test series in New Zealand, but likewise, let's see who will win. I think Sri Lanka chances are thinner, and I think New Zealand will be favorites to win that test match in their own backyard.
Yeah. So considering from the top 4, India, South Africa, Pakistan, and Australia, it's a one-match situation where South Africa and Australia, they lose 2 matches and they're probably out of contention. Australia, even the India series is a big one. Australia, India, South Africa, Australia, that will make or break the chances of what the final will be. So, and considering Pakistan have the tightest margin from all, one match, and then their percentage is either draw or lose, and their percentage highest they can get is around 62, 63. Maybe between 61, 63. So how important is it for Pakistan to take advantage of the home conditions? Qasim.
Well, Pakistan is always a very good side. We have seen in the with a home crowd of like the past 10 years, but we have whitewashed England. I think way back in 2012, when under the coaching of Mohsen Khan and the leadership of Misbah-ul-Haq, that was like a very one-sided affair. Because in subcontinent pitches, England, Australia, always the foreign countries like get bit trouble, especially the spin department of Pakistan. So I think that will be not a one-sided series. England will go hard considering their form. They have beaten India. They have beaten South Africa, they have beaten New Zealand. So they are like in red hot form. I do agree with that. Pakistan especially, they can put like, you can say that tough time to England. But that will be a walk in the park for Pakistan as well. Because England team is currently in form, and I believe that that will be a 50-50 series. I can't say that Pakistan going favorites, but you never know, because England have a very good playing 11. Same with Pakistan. Test nation is a very good side. So I think it would be a good contest. And as you mentioned that only a 1 draw or 1 loss for Pakistan, they can out of a World Test Championship. So I do wish Pakistan luck that they can perform well and whitewash England. But to be really honest and realistically speaking, England can come hard to Pakistan, and that can be not a one-sided affair, as we can see in the past of Misbah-ul-Haq era or somewhat like that. So it can be a good series.
Same question for you, Faris.
Okay.
Same question.
Yes.
Pakistan's chances.
Can you please? Okay. Let me come to that. Ebi, I think Pakistan will be in a good position. Actually, I was about to ask you the same question when you were indulged in conversation with Qasim. like I think Pakistan has a good chance, of winning the two test series of New Zealand and England, which they are scheduled to play in Pakistan. Actually, the New Zealand series, I think it is scheduled in the next year or the same year. Can you
At the
guys
end of
confirm?
this year, December, January. This year,
Okay,
December.
okay, okay. So I think Pakistan is in a good position to grab the final spot for the World Test Championship. But as Qasim said, like we have seen in the Australian series, I actually went to the ground also, like all of you guys know. Uh, you know, Pakistan, if they make the same pitches and if they repeat the same mistakes, I don't think they will be able to win the test matches. Like England has also, have a good side that will come to visit the test matches at least. So let's see what will happen. But I think Pakistan had good chances, but according to the statement of Qasim, England has 70% chance, and Pakistan I think have 30% chance.
Yeah, definitely. I would definitely not want to see the same pitches that were prepared for Australia, because if they prepare that pitches for England, to high totals will be going very high, 450, 550. England's approach, they like to play aggressive, and that pitch will be bread and butter for them, those type of pitches. So I wouldn't want to see that. With England, I'd prefer maybe seam-friendly pitches or even spin-friendly. Seam-friendly, not too much, because Jimmy Anderson, Stuart Broadwell, Ollie Robertson, guys like that will come into the game, and we've seen it now with South Africa, not only with swing up front, but they've been reversing the ball as well very well. So maybe seam-friendly, not really. The spinners. Maybe Pakistan should concentrate to win the game with their spinners. Moving on, now the Test cricket is being set aside for a break for a while, and we're going into more T20 as the T20 World Cup comes. We've seen a few teams have announced their squads. Asia Cup has just come to an end. It was a disappointment for Pakistan, but Sri Lanka have won. I picked them as the dark horse to win the tournament, and they, after losing to Afghanistan, they did very well. So, Kasim, what are your thoughts on Sri Lanka's comeback and the win on Asia Cup?
Well, after seeing their first match against Afghanistan, that was the Asia Cup opener. Nobody has ever, I think, thought that Asia they will even reach the second round of the tournament. Because I remember you asked on the WhatsApp group who will win. I predicted that Afghanistan will win one-sided affair, and it was a one-sided affair because they won the toss. I think Afghanistan put them into board 104 all out, and Afghanistan chased that within 11 to 12 overs. That shows the mentality of Afghanistan players and the way they played. After that, they win 4 consecutive toss, because we have seen the toss is the basic element of World Cup T20 as well, followed by Asia Cup. So everyone saying won the toss and ball first and win the match. But they proved Pakistan yesterday wrong as well. So Sri Lanka, dark horses, we all say that they are playing for the nation. Considering their political condition and the way their country going on, we have seen the unity, a lot of unity. Credit must go to all the Sri Lankans, the way they played. They outclassed Pakistan. Like I'm open to say that, because everyone saying Pakistan, 90% of the people, analysts are saying the Pakistan are favorites to win the Asia title for the third time. But the way they approach after 58 for 5, I think that's fabulous. All credit goes to the way their boys come out and they absorb the pressure. And the other hand, Pakistan gets some bit lighter on the crucial stage of the game, a bit captaincy affair, but nothing to deal much about that. That happens. The cricket is a part of the game. We can't thought much. But Sri Lankan definitely, being a cricket lover and being a cricket analyst, I do appreciate their effort, and I love to see the way they responded, because it was my team against opponent, but I love the way they're playing. As a cricket analyst, I think everyone was happy with the way they performed, and they deserve the title, to be honest. Yeah.
What's your thoughts on Sri Lanka's comeback in the Asia Cup and eventually winning it and becoming champions of Asia this year?
First, EB, I would like to take a sarcasm on your statement. You also picked India as a dark horse, but
Not India.
unfortunately,
I picked Sri Lanka and Afghanistan. India were favorites.
Like you were, before the group matches, I think Qasim would agree also that you were saying that India can come. You didn't pick as a dark horse, but you were on their side.
I said they were
now
favorites.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Okay.
In fact, 70% of the people I have seen some headline in the yesterday match. 70% of the people saying India are favorites, 0% to Sri Lanka, and 14% to Pakistan.
I saw that as well. I saw
that
that as
was quite
well.
surprising. Sri Lanka 0 is quite surprising, and everyone they come out with the champions as well. So that's great. Goes to
yeah.
Okay, let's now let's put sarcasm, to the side, and I will, answer your question. Actually, I was pretty surprised when Pakistan, picked up 58 for 5. I thought, Pakistan was in the driver's seat to win the match. But, considering the performances of Pakistan in the field, Sri Lanka was born to win, because after 58 for 5, you can't, get a opposition to 170. And I was surprised. I was not surprised. Actually, Pakistan have, did lapses like that in the past also, like you have seen in the World Cup of the semi-final 2011 World Cup, and so on and so on. So, and also recent T20 World Cup 2021, although we bowled a bit better rather in this match, in that match, and also one catch was dropped of Hassan Ali, Qasim's favorite player. So I think the fielding was very poor, and the bowling was also poor, and some captaincy question were also regarding Babar. Like, I was having a convo with Qasim. He said that Babar should have applied Nawaz as a bowler. Why he saved that overs? He only bowled 1 over and gave away 3 runs and 3 dots. I also saw that in the scorecard. So that was a big question mark. And he bowled out Iftikhar. Iftikhar didn't bowl a whole ball in the tournament. Although he picked up the wicket, but I was pretty surprised with the captaincy, and with again, after having bowling out opposition, on 58 for 5, you can't get opposition let score to 170. Like, I was not expecting, but let's forget it and move to the past, and concentrate on the Pakistan team selection, like how they can select the team. My playing 11 would be exactly the same team, but excluding 3 players, including Asif Ali and maybe Khoshdil Shah, and give chance to young lad Haider Ali at number 3, and also Fakhar Zaman. I don't want these 3 in my lineup. And maybe you can bring Malik in the lineup, but it depends, because Malik also has not a good record in the shorter format, and also the statement he made, like it's very difficult for him to get in the team now, I think.
Okay, moving forward, Nawaz, as you mentioned, Nawaz is a big highlight there that he didn't bowl his overs, being the best bowler for Pakistan throughout the tournament. It was a partnership breaker for him. And I thought, okay, if Tikari used him, you got a wicket, maybe one more extra over there, but you could have used Nawaz there. I think Nawaz could have got Hasranga and Panuka Rajpaksha out there. He would have probably been a better option. And I think that was a mistake there. Qasim, what do you think? Maybe Nawaz made a difference. I think also.
Well, everyone is talking about that, and Farid also at that point we have a convo early on in that regard. But to be honestly, on a TV set we can't predict too early, because what going on Babar mind at the time, it's not hard to predict, because Babar has made some very bold decisions. Bringing Nawaz at number 4 support at batting position against India was a very match-winning knock. So we can't deny the fact that what's going on Babar, because he's definitely a leader, and at the ground what's happening, because I believe it's a left-handed, and he preferred to bowl
most people are talking about Nawaz's naturally his ball will turn into Hasaranga and Manu, and they'd easier play him. But I think him being a frontline bowler would have been, and a strike
but
bowler.
At least couple of overs that should be from Nawaz, and that I believe, because he's the leading wicket taker as spin department of Pakistan from 8 to 9 wickets, and I was quite surprised that even 16th over he come to bowl. But whatever comes in Babar, we can't predict that. He's a captain, he's a leader, and I must appreciate Babar. He's taken some bold decisions. It's Asia Cup, moving on the Shadab early on, then Nawaz nobody was expecting this about Nawaz to bat at number 4 or 5 at that position, and he made 40 out of 20 to get the match out of for India. So it's early to say on TV set, it's early to criticize, it's early to predict, but I will go with Babar. There's something on Babar's mind. That's why he couldn't go for the Nawaz, I believe. Preferring Nawaz or preferring Iftikhar because of the left-hand combination, or might be that. But it can be because we have lost, so we can clearly say that it's Babar mistake. But you can't, as I said earlier, from TV set, you can't point the finger out that it's happening this and that. And same team, if Pakistan wins, that nobody highlight that point. But it's a mistake, even though I do believe as an analyst, but I'll still go with Babar, that he has something on mind. You never know.
Okay, so now coming to an Asia Cup has ended. Sri Lanka have done well. Well done to Sri Lanka. Congratulations on winning the Asia Cup. Now moving forward, Pakistan play England, sorry. India play Australia. Two big the build to the T20 World Cup starts. What are your thoughts on those two series?
Well, Pakistan and England have 7 T20 series. I think that's a very long series. In fact, 7 T20 is a pure entertainment. And I think first there's a T20, right?
Yeah.
That's a very good sign for the practice before before the rest just prior World Cup. But conditions are slightly different. Being a Pakistani and then move toward Australian conditions. So as far as Pakistan is concerned, though, as you mentioned, that South Africa and Australia series, South African people can use of the conditions and they can get the use of the condition and gets the playing nature of the Aussies and the other countries as well with span of time to adjust the situation. But Pakistan, on the other hand, playing in Pakistan 7 T20 is definitely the quality side. England that do matter, but there is a lot of difference of pitches as we have seen in Dubai, uneven bounce. Same with Pakistan, not that much to carry up a bounce. So in Australia, you said that Wahab Riaz, as Watson, the ball carry itself and a very pacey bowlers Pakistan have. So that can be a bit flaw from Pakistan and not flaw actually because we are professional, we are used to play at any sort of a ground. But as far as preparation is concerned, that might be. And India versus Australia in India, right?
Yes.
So they are also on the same sort of thing. Indian conditions are not that much suitable to as compared to Australia. So I think series will be good. Both are like four teams are fabulous and have been like rated on high on cricketing like expert knowledge. But I believe that it would be a good series. A result to be predicted is quite early to predict who will win, but T20 might be. I will fancy Pakistan more. And as far as India is concerned, Australia and India series will also be a midway series. You can't predict because Australia in India has always come hard. So it will be an entertaining series. But as for the preparation of the World Cup, might be a venue, or you may say that the preparation for a specific ground can be altered. But still, a game you never know. Yeah.
Faris, what are your thoughts? The upcoming two series, Pakistan versus England and Australia versus India.
Actually, EB, like Qasim has pointed out, the conditions are different over the Australia and over in Pakistan. So the first three T20s are scheduled in Karachi and the rest of T20s are scheduled at Lahore, I think. So yeah, I am definitely going to see one of those T20 at Karachi. So let's see what happens. But as Qasim said, the conditions over there are, from 50-degree, they will turn to 50-degree because in Pakistan, you normally get a placid wicket and a batting friendly wicket. Whereas in Australia, the pitches are used, I have more bounce. So Pakistan will struggle a little bit, but in T20, you cannot, struggle like that much because they will not leave grass on the pitch in T20s. They will prepare pitches that will be more entertaining for all the teams. So yeah, let's see about it. And as far as India versus Australia series is concerned, my only concern for the Indian team is they are lacking behind the pace and and in the bowling recently that I have seen their bowling is struggling. Even teams like Hong Kong are struggling, are scoring 140 runs against them. So it is a big concern for India, and players like Deepak Hooda, are in the team. I don't know on what selection basis they are in the team. Actually, it is a big question on them. So why they have selected them? They have dropped the likes of the Mohammad Shami. They said
And
they
why
is
not,
not fit enough.
Faris, why not Umran Malik? Even though it's early to say, Harbhajan Singh also pointed that this guy got pace, even though it's quite expensive, but Australian conditions, I remember Wahab Riaz or even the four pacers we have, Hasnan, Naseem, Shaheen Afridi, they will be like a surprise package for any opposition. So India have
Exactly.
facility of Umran
Also,
Malik.
why not bring Shami and Deepak Char from standby into the squad and maybe leave Bhuvi and somebody else in the reserves?
Exactly. That's why I pointed out, the India will struggle with the bowling lineup and with the pace battery because because pace troubles, the batsmen. And as far as in Australia, it will be a huge boost. And everyone is saying that Pakistan has got a good bowling lineup, but in batting lineup, we need to work on. And Pakistan, in all the teams, as we compare, will be set a good example in bowling as we have seen in the Asia Cup. But let's see, too early to say.
Yeah.
What the delivery Haris Rauf bowled yesterday?
Yeah, it was a good delivery. Looking forward, Pakistan before the T20 World Cup, they have won last a tri-series in New Zealand, which is also including Bangladesh. Do you think that would give Pakistan a bit of good
That is
preparation
before World Cup.
Yeah,
That is
before
before
World Cup. Yes,
Oh,
before
that's
World Cup.
perfect. That's perfect then. Because New Zealand and Australia conditions are more or less same. That
Yeah.
could be a good.
So will
And
that be good for?
also,
Is there
they
a
are
good?
neighboring countries.
Is there a good thing for Pakistan that before going to Australia they go to New Zealand, play the tri-series, and then they get to Australia, they play 2 warm-up games. So I think that will be a good preparation for Pakistan.
Yeah,
before
that
T20
can
World Cup.
be. That's possible.
But EB, considering the size of the ground of Australia and considering the
Yeah.
size of the ground of New
New Zealand a bit
that will
slow.
make a difference. That
Yeah,
will make a difference. But as you are right, the condition, as far as the conditions are concerned, they are same, but ground size matter.
and the pitches also, some of the New Zealand pitches are also drop-in pitches like Australia.
Yes.
So you could get
Yes.
something similar. And you could get big grounds because sometimes New Zealand use the rugby ground, so you could get the big boundaries also.
Yes.
So let's coming towards the end of the show. Final thoughts on who will have the best preparation going into the World Cup, with the favorites between India, Australia, South Africa, New Zealand, and England. Who's going to have the best preparation going forward? New Zealand have one series against the tri-series with Bangladesh and Pakistan. Pakistan have the series against England. England play Australia in Australia before the T20 World Cup after the Pakistan series. South Africa have the one series against India, and then India 2 series against Australia and South Africa. And then Australia, they have 3 series. They play India, then they go back home and play West Indies and England. So who will have the best preparation before the World Cup? Qasim.
I think Australia, have the, good preparation before the World Cup, because as far as all the teams you have mentioned, they have more series than any other team. And the second one is England, because England will play in Australia. So these are the first 2 teams that will have more preparation rather than India and Pakistan.
Qasim.
Well, I will be contradict in that, because as far as T20 preparations are concerned, we have seen T20 World Cup last year. Australia were lost to, I think, Bangladesh. They have lost 4 to 5 series, and they are ending up a World T20 champions. So when it comes to Australia, you have just reminded me of 2015 World Cup, because all the hosts, Australia and I think New Zealand were hosts, and they were the finalists as well. So one finalist was pretty clear. I'm telling you right now, Australia will be the one team who will play the World T20 final, and the other team, I can't say as far as preparation is concerned, because it's shorter format, never need any sort of preparation. Preparation is good as far as matches are going on, but on particular day, 3 to 4 hours are important. Who plays a better cricket in this 3 to 4 hours will, but I believe inshallah it will be Pakistan versus Australia, hopefully, considering the Pakistan pace attack. Right? If a batting clicks, then it will be, but one team for sure that will be Australia. And New Zealand can be, but New Zealand is not in the best of the forms, but so Australia is hard to beat, and considering they are very used to of their conditions, their you have example of 2015 World Cup, both teams are finalists. It's a ODI format, in fact, but T20 preparation, that doesn't matter, to be honest, because we have seen in the past, Australia lost 5 series consecutively and ending up a World Cup champion. So let's see how the series goes, but Pakistan and Australia, as far as finalists are concerned.
I also think Australia and England have the best preparation because of England playing a series in Australia. West Indies, I don't think that series will matter too much because they still have to go through the qualifier. So we'll have to see how that goes. Okay, that's the end of the show. We've come to the end. Thank you, Qasim and Faris, for coming on the show.
I would like to, just cut out you for a 5-second break. Did you guys know Sri Lanka, who are champions of the Asia Cup, will have to play qualifier also? Now that's interesting.
Yes, I saw that.
I was not aware of that.
They missed out. They missed out just a bit by losing that match. I think the last match of the last year's T20 World Cup. Otherwise, they would have been in the top 8. So
actually, the commentator was mentioning that at the end of the ceremony. So
Sri Lanka in Group A of the qualifier for T20 World Cup. So that's the end of the show. Thank you, Faris.
South Africa and West Indies are dark horses. South Africa and West Indies will be dark horses, as always.
Yeah. Okay. That's the end of the show. Thank you, Faris and Qasim, for coming to the show. To subscribe to the channel, subscribe to Qasim's Cricketing Mind and Gaming Lounge, Faris's Gaming Lounge. I'll also put the links in the description, and also check out my blog, Ebiessporttalk.blogspot.com, and also follow on social media and subscribe to the blog, and also like the video. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you.